Okay, guys, this is Rose. Um, so I ran into this chick who calls herself Gang Stalking Long Island, and she's a targeted individual. She said she was targeted in Long Island, New York. She's a native of New York, and I think she moved away since then because the targeting was so bad. But anyway, you know me, I don't really care what people think, I can talk about spirituality and science at the same time. It doesn't bother me. I don't care if people think I'm cray cray. I'm to the I'm to the point where I don't care. So so what's her face? Gang stalk in Long Island. She was saying that they're harassing targeted individuals because they have the metagene. I was like, wow, okay. So I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. If you work with human DNA and human genetics and you can tell me about the metagene, go ahead. It won't hurt my feelings or anything. So she was saying that target individuals that were angels, that we have the metagene and we're part of the 144,000. If you ever read the Bible or been into religion, and I've always been taught not to talk about religion, only say facts. But in this case, I will have to talk about religion and spirituality to explain it. Yeah, a lot of people have talked about the 144,000, and then Gang Stalk in Long Island, she said that the metagene comes from the mother's bloodline, from the mitochondrial DNA, right? I'm not, like I said, I'm not a DNA expert or anything. So it comes from your mother's side, the metagene. Okay. And so we'll work backwards. And anyway, I listened to Gang Stalk in Long Island, and what does it have to do with Epstein? It has some kind of ties to Epstein and all kinds of other wicked shite. So, when they have chemtrails, right? And they have these X's. Have you ever seen chemtrails with X's? That are shaped like X? Well, I've seen chemtrails, and I took pictures of some of them. One of them looked like this alien, demonic looking thing, and one of them had like an X, okay? And anyway, Gang Stalk in Long Island, she says that, they're targeting us because we have the X gene or the metagene or some kind of shit like that. And she says that's why Hitler, the Nazi regime, unalived a lot of people back in the day because they had the X gene, they had the metagene. And she says they spray the sky, they spray an X in the sky with chemtrails. It literally means war against the people who have the X gene. Yeah, because I've seen that before. Have you ever seen a chemtrail that was shaped like an X? And she says the Luciferians are behind it. She says Lucifer is highly methodical and organized, demanding the same from his army, or they are punished via adrenochrome withdrawal. Wow. Okay. This is what she says, okay? And she says people doing the targeting are Luciferians. And the mark of the beast is adrenochrome. And eventually it will be a chip as well. So she's saying the target individuals have the metagene and are part of the 144,000. Okay. Now, I'm not a religious scholar either. If you are a religious scholar, if you have a degree in theology, you know, and you can talk about the 144,000 and give me some advice about it, feel free to do so. I'm not an expert on the 144,000. If you know the difference between the Luciferians and the Satanists, let me know. Like, I really don't know the difference between Satan and Lucifer. I mean, some people say that they're different, beings. I have no idea. To me, they're pretty much the same. But anyway, we'll listen to some of her videos. Yeah, I wanted to show you this. I just want to read what it says on her video. Okay. So she says, gang stalking revolves around the 12 tribes of Israel, which correlates with the 12 astrological zodiac signs, okay? The zodiac was created by Lucifer, is what she says, okay? And he controls the population. He molds the world's population into platoons. He can control, hence his title, commander. The zodiac gives each tribe a time to shine in this material world. Lucifer is highly methodical and organized, demanding the same from his army, or they are punished with a withdrawal. Okay, can you read that? The 12 tribes are Yahweh's people born from Ishtar's Eve. So, I guess, the people who have the meta gene or the X gene, that, we came from Eve, if you believe in Adam and Eve. And now she says Eve was a hybrid female cloned from the cells of a human male. I guess that would have been Adam. I don't know. And with that, the Hopi people and MUFON enthusiasts, the Hopi people are Native American people. MUFON is like this organization that does research on UFOs. They call us the starseeds. So I think a lot of target individuals are starseeds, indigo children, whatever. And she says others view this theory as fallen angels mixing with the seed of man as described in Genesis. And then, anyway, get to the good part. Any fallout by the immune system to original X bloodline is called autism. Wow. So she says Satan has a war upon the original X genetics. Metaphysical theory explains that the offspring of Isha, I don't know how to pronounce that, that means Eve, contain the remnant of the X mitochondrial DNA. Wow. The key to true immortality, the breath of life, as expressed in limitless reproductive scale, passed from mother to daughter. Hence why the dragon came down to wage war on the remnant of woman's seed. Now, it does say in the Bible, and I don't want to talk about religion, but I can't explain it without talking about religion. So it does say in the Bible that Satan had a war against the woman's seed. And the X gene, right, comes from the mitochondrial DNA. It comes from the mother's side. Okay? So they get the A stuff from the X children. It's the caviar of the elite. The X factor is considered by the fallen angels as rebellious, in need of corralling or extermination. Before an original X carrier can see divergences, naturally born aware and resistant to the wiles of the devil, genetics lend weight to the tare and wheat theory described in the Bible. Consider the war on X as Hitler's final solution on cosmic scale. The Siegel X is certainly sprayed in the sky above, as many Rome observed as a declaration of war. Wow, genetics is a factor to each tribe's strength. Isn't that wild? So I was telling you, like when they have chemtrails, right? Like they spray, when they have this chemtrails, right? Like they spray like an X in the sky. Isn't that wild? So I think she's a smart lady. Now, could she, you know, could she be wrong? I don't know. But I noticed, like I said, like a lot of target individuals don't even have criminal records, So it doesn't make sense why they would be harassed, But anyway, I thought it was very interesting what she had to say, It was very interesting, She put it in this one video. It's on Rumble. And isn't that wild? So what she's saying is, that I've heard that before, that target individuals, like, we're the angels, we're on the good side, and we're the good guys. And these elite people, they need our shite to stay alive, because they're all very evil and demonic and all that shit. They need the they need our shite to stay alive. And look, it says yeah, and I like what she says. The key to true immortality, the breath of life, expressed as a limitless reproductive scale, passed from mother to daughter. Hence why the dragon came down to wage war against the woman's seed. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not some Bible expert, I'm definitely not, I don't have a degree in theology and all, but I did read the Bible a lot. And I remember it does say that they want to wage war against the woman's seed, And I always wondered why. Haven't you always wondered why? I've been a Christian all my life. I mean, I'm not saying I'm holier than thou, Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you don't do stupid stuff. I mean, sometimes I still curse like a sailor. And but yeah. So they want to, it says in the Bible that Satan wanted to wage war against the woman's seed. And that's probably why. Because there are certain people on the earth who carry this mitochondrial DNA from the woman's seed, and they have the metagene, So I looked up this chick who's a target individual on X, Let's see. Yeah, this chick who's a target individual on X, let me find her again. And she talks a lot about the metagene, Isn't that wild? Okay, I'm trying to find her again. Now, I can't explain to you exactly what the metagene is, Like I said, you got to put the word together. You got to spell it in one word, metagene. You got to put the two words together, okay, for it to come out, okay. So she says, super empowered individuals metagene. Today's SCEI are far from being fictional characters. The 144 servants of God were empowered through the Holy Grail. Wow. So we have, according to her, we have angelic DNA gene. Now here's some stuff on X talking about the metagene. I don't know. I don't know if that's the same thing that these other people are talking about, but it says she says aliens are demons, the fallen angels. They can shapeshift in a heartbeat. They drink the what of the descendants of Jesus Christ. Wow. So we have this DNA, the metagene, and this is why they're hunting the 144,000 angels. So target individuals, I guess, were literally like angels, Isn't that wild? And I'm looking at all of her stuff. And you know me, I don't care what anybody thinks anymore. I mean, if you want to defeat your enemies, you have to look at not just the physical aspect, but the spiritual aspect. Because this stuff that's going on definitely has to do with spirituality as well. Wow, and she's talking about wow, and she's talking about a lot about the metagene. So she says, God's DNA is Jacob's ladder. They are the incarnated angels who carry his metagene factor. Wow. So this is the only thing I could find, Wow, that is wild. And she says, target individual and the satanic gang stalking, human trafficking, torture, blah, 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 slow kill program is about the Christ bloodline. Wow. So I wonder, if target individuals, if we are from the Jesus bloodline, that is wild, huh? Now, I did see this chick, on TikTok. She said she was Illuminati, Mothers of Darkness, High Priestess chick or some kind of shit like that. And she said that they knew that the indigo children, the star seeds, whatever, that we were going to be born in this timeline, and they purposely made us victims of MK Ultra for that reason, because it's said in the Bible. Again, I have to use religion to explain it. There's no other way. It says in the Bible, right, that Satan wanted to be like God. He wants to sit on God's throne and take over heaven, right? So this Illuminati high priestess chick, she said that that's the whole reason why they did MK Ultra, because they wanted to get all the people with this metagene and make them MK Ultra victims so they could break into the gates of heaven, Anyway, it was a good video. So I'm looking at, she's the only one that seems to be talking a lot about the metagene, Now she says that all the torture and all the shite they're doing to you is to activate your metagene. I don't know. I mean, I'm still learning this shite too. So she says, I'm being put through trauma, human torture to activate my metagene. Wow. So, I don't know,
Trillions of DNA.
Like I said, here's something about the metagene right here. Wow. That's wild. I wonder if this is for real,
To those we expect to see in 2 to 3 years suggests a substantial risk that AI systems.
So I don't know. I don't know if that's about the real metagene. I have no idea. I had to do some research into the metagene and what it is, like I said, here's some more stuff, a research paper about the metagene. Wow. I wonder if this is for real. Like I said, I'm I'm not a scientist. I'm not some kind of DNA expert or anything. But if anybody out there, it talks about the metagene and AI. Interesting, right? So I'm going to do some research into this on my own and come back and do a video about it, because like I said, I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I'm not a DNA expert or anything. But that's interesting. Metagene AI. Wow, I have to look into that shite. So, anyway, very interesting, right? Anyway, you guys have a good day or a good night, whatever.